Kotlin Inline functions, reified types, and contracts. These advanced features help you write faster code, work with generic types at runtime, and give the compiler extra information about your functions. By the end of this video, you will understand when and why to use each one. When you pass a lambda to a function, Kotlin creates a lambda object behind the scenes. This costs memory allocation and method calls. An inline function solves this. The compiler copies the function body directly at the call site. No lambda object is created. No extra overhead. Just the raw code. Here is a measureTime function. The regular version creates a lambda object every time you call it. The inline version copies the code directly. When you write measureTime inline with a lambda, the compiler replaces the call with the actual start, block, and end code. Zero allocation overhead. Use inline when the function takes lambda parameters and is called frequently on hot paths. Do not use inline when the function body is very large because every call site gets a copy. Do not use it when the function has no lambda parameters because there is no benefit. Keep inline functions small. Inline functions enable non-local returns. Normally, a return inside a lambda only exits the lambda itself. But with an inline function, the return exits the enclosing function. This is because the lambda code is inlined directly into the function body. The return becomes part of the outer function. Look at this repeatAction example. Inside the lambda, if I equals 5, we call return. This does not just exit the lambda. It returns from the process item's function entirely. The line after repeatAction never prints. This is a powerful feature, but you must use it carefully. Sometimes you need to store a lambda or pass it to another function. You cannot do that with an inline lambda. Use noinline to prevent a specific parameter from being inlined. The noinline lambda can be stored in a variable, returned from the function, or passed to a non-inline function. Crossinline prevents non-local returns in a lambda while still inlining it. Use crossinline when the lambda runs in a different execution context like a thread or callback. Without crossinline, a return inside the lambda would try to exit the enclosing function, which does not make sense from another thread. Let's compare the three modifiers. Default inline lambdas are inlined and allow non-local returns but cannot be stored. Noinline lambdas are not inlined, do not allow non-local returns but can be stored. Crossinline lambdas are inlined but do not allow non-local returns and cannot be stored. In Java and Kotlin, generic types are erased at runtime. This means list of string and list of int are the same type at runtime. You cannot check if a value is of type T. You cannot get T's class. Reified type parameters fix this. They preserve type information at runtime. With the reified keyword on an inline function, you can use as T to check types and T, class to get the class. This only works with inline functions because the compiler replaces T with the actual type at each call site. Here is an isType function that checks if a value matches type T. Reified types are useful for filtering collections by type. This filterByType extension function uses filterIsInstance with a reified type parameter. You call it with a specific type, and it returns only elements of that type. No reflection needed. The type check happens at compile time. You can also use reified types for string parsing. This parseString function takes a string and converts it to the requested type. It checks T, class to decide how to parse. For int it calls to int or null. For double it calls to double or null. The caller specifies the target type as a type argument. Contracts tell the compiler about the behavior of your function. The callsInPlace contract tells the compiler how many times a lambda is called. When you say exactly once, the compiler knows the lambda runs exactly one time. This allows you to initialize val variables inside the lambda. The returns contract helps with smart casting. When you write returns true implies value is not null, the compiler knows that if the function returns true, then value is not null. After the if check, you can use value without null checks. The compiler trusts your contract declaration. Here is a practical retry function using inline. It takes a number of attempts and a lambda. On each attempt, it runs the lambda in a try-catch. If the lambda succeeds, it returns the result using a non-local return. If all attempts fail, it throws the last exception. 0 allocation overhead. The withResource function demonstrates inline for resource management. It opens a resource, runs the lambda, and closes the resource in a finally block. The finally block always runs, even if the lambda throws an exception. Because the function is inline, there is no lambda object created. Many Kotlin standard library functions use inline and reified. The scope functions let, run, also, and apply are all inline. Filter as instance uses reified to filter by type. The require and check functions use contracts. These features power the standard library you use every day. Common mistakes include inlining large functions which bloats compiled code, forgetting that reified requires inline, and not using contracts for variable initialization. Remember, inline is not free. Every call site gets a copy of the function body. Only use inline when you have lambda parameters or need reified types. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more tutorials.